CJ Uzama, 4 catches, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns tonight.
Really? For Burrow, huh?
Wow. Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome. We are live once again, 414 Play here on TVMGC. As you see, we do have a special guest. I, once again, Tommy Ludio1 here. With me, as always, the Milwaukee Game Collector, Brandon. Mr. Bradley Craw, otherwise known as Brad Craw. Bringing the energy, as always. And our special guest, Miss Unsweetened Applesauce. Welcome. Coming from out of town too. So not quite the 4-4. You want to introduce yourself a little bit before we dive into any of the other nonsense that we've already started? I will say, yep, it should be. If we did anything right in a pre-show, that's exactly where your name is. I like the fact that she came bold. She's like, yeah, I'm like outnumbered 3-1, like Wisconsin, but you know what? Texas is the best state, like right out the gate.
it. Save it. Time is not now. But
Super
one of them.
insightful, not basic questions at all.
No, none basic, all extra. One of those questions was, "What's your favorite console?" And it started a little bit of dialogue. So you'd say PS1, that's yours, or PS2? I forget.
If I may cut you off just to be the rude host that I usually am,
Mm-hmm.
we had. Oh, they're very quiet. I have to fix your guys' audio. You're quite quiet. So I don't think any of the previous answers were heard. She was just affirming that Wisconsin is indeed the best state, despite the fact she is from Texas.
No.
It was a very
I know,
gracious
the audio
thing.
is clearly not working. I said Texas.
No, I think yeah. Okay, maybe. Might be true.
Are
Have
we-
you ever been to Texas?
I have been to
We got a gas
Texas.
station that has like 42 pumps. It's called Buc-ee's. It has its own merchandise.
Oh my gosh.
You weren't
42
cool in
pumps.
junior high if you didn't have a Buc-ee's t-shirt.
42 pumps.
Saying.
Respect.
Is it like a Wawa? Like Wawa has that special like reputation in Florida. I know. We don't have like that cool. Like Speedway doesn't cut the mustard here.
Yeah, definitely doesn't.
Our audio is good according to Bob. Quite.
Hey.
All right.
He said better, and yes, Wisconsin is better than Wisconsin. Which
Thanks, Bob.
Yep. Bob knows.
Appreciate
what's
it.
this
Appreciate
is
that, Bob.
these are the facts that you were talking about. These are the exact facts. It's perfect.
Mhm.
So now I will jump back in since we have working audio. Brandon, you were asking. Working.
Well, it was really just generated
favorite
from our new
consoles.
person.
Favorite consoles, things that she enjoys playing, games. Go nuts. I will shut up since things seem to be working finally.
Well, I would say that I jump in and have been probably PS2 is like the one that I'll probably play into perpetuity. I don't play it a lot right now, but I think that's one of my favorite ones. So I'd probably go PS2 at the moment.
Fair. I think mine would definitely be. It's hard. My favorite is Xbox. Probably the Xbox 360 is my favorite, but the PlayStation 2 has a really, really special place in my heart. So, my natural, like, I want to say it's the PS2, but realistically, it's probably not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have to think back, like, the times I had with, like, my friends at certain, I have different memories connected to different consoles, playing, Nintendo with my brothers at a very young age, and then you have, like, Nintendo 64 with Mario Kart when that came out, and GoldenEye made my brain explode, and then, like, playing Halo and linking up the Xboxes, so
Yeah.
that's really tough for me. Depends what kind of game I'm in the mood for, but I don't know. It's kind of a tie between
It's
a
a
lot
tough
of
question.
them. Yeah, it's a great question.
I'm
Great
still
question.
recalling the fantasy football stories you were telling us before we went live. Like when you started it, like, oh yeah, like back in the day. Do you remember who your first pick was?
For I mean, like, what are we talking about? Like the retro video game?
No, like
Fantasy? What are we talking about?
I don't know. I totally jumped to fantasy because when you were like, I just had the memory from the pre-show. But so you said Xbox probably as well.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time when I linked up the Xboxes with my buddies and we were playing Halo 1. It was just
Eight player. You could do 8 players.
Yeah, 8 players, hang them high. Everyone had pistols. Everyone just dying at will. It was super fun. So much fun. Played those games for hours.
Remind me, there's a new Halo coming out, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Halo
Yes,
Infinity.
there is.
What systems? Crossplay or what's the?
Xbox only, right?
I would be surprised if it was PS.
Yeah, it's going to be an
that's
Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, Xbox only. I think that's supposed to be coming out like
It might
next
be
month.
PC because I know that there's the MCC for like on Steam, or you can also get it for PC through other ways.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's going to be a part of the Halo collection or not. But
Yeah. Well, sort of,
I
it's
just jumped
super
in
interesting.
like, yeah, I don't know.
No, it's good. That's super interesting though, like this concept. So we are. I'll jump to a thought that I think is kind of intriguing. You guys can opine if you have an opinion. I think so. Somewhat to the modern gaming side, we're trying to put a tournament on. We have 5 titles that we're choosing for people to compete in. So it's like Rainbow Six, Valorant, um, NBA 2K, Rocket League, and Smash Bros. And it's interesting because as I was reading those titles off to like one of the collegiate coaches, he was like, "Oh, you might think about playing games that are more cross-platform because most of those are like console or like specific." And he
Mhm.
was just like, "The wave of the future is gonna be like cross-platform." So I think like it's super fascinating to imagine like a game like Halo Infinity coming out in this day and age and not being cross-platform. Like it seems so odd like the future of gaming can't be like specific to one console. Like to just I don't know. Do you guys feel like there's that brand loyalty? Like I know there was.
There
Like
definitely is.
I don't know if it's gonna be that way going forward. There, I'd be curious
Yeah.
what you guys think.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be. I mean, most new releases have to be available on the PC. I mean, pretty much everything is now, right? I really don't play games on PC, but I mean, do you guys know more about that? Like,
Well, I think Fortnite's a perfect example where when they're like, no, it's everything was specific to whatever um, console or PC, like everything was separate, and then they finally were like, hey, it's open to everybody, and then everybody could kind of compete. And I know there's little differences, like PC players will always say they have an advantage, and they probably do. I'm not a huge PC gamer, but as far as the accuracy that they shoot with, or that they're able to play the game, and because of the other functions, they have a whole keyboard essentially instead of, two opposable thumbs that they're doing their best with, like any console player would have to do.
Agreed.
yeah,
And I was just remembering like how much it used to be. Like so I was a PlayStation dude up through 2 and then I went pure Xbox from that point out. Like never owned a PS3, never owned a 4 or 5 like and so now today when like the new ones come out, like I think I would be a PlayStation dude. It seems like they have better games, but it's almost like there's this brand loyalty to like the controller and experience. And like I wonder if that'll even be a thing like anymore into the future. Or if it'll just be like no, nobody cares.
I'm exactly in the same boat. Like, I had PS2, and then I had the Xbox, and then I like the same thing applied to me. I was the same way. I'm like, yeah, I could probably get one of those, but
I
Yeah.
think
it's like
they
it's
hook you in
exactly the
with
same.
the console exclusives. And
Yeah.
so, like with Halo, everyone immediately went to Xbox because of Halo, and no one else could have that. And then there's a lot of still newer, like PlayStation 5 exclusives, and so it's I don't think cross-platform is gonna go very far. I think it's still gonna be restricted or limited to certain consoles just because of the exclusives. That's the only reason. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how they make money.
That's a fair point. Well, then I was reminded when I was listening to a retro podcast the other day, just like how important the launch titles used to be. Like Sega Genesis came out with like obviously the
Sonic.
little blue guy who I'm looking at right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna
Sonic.
say
Sonic the
Sonic, my
Hedgehog.
boy. God, I should be taken. But like Sonic was like proprietary to Genesis, and like I don't know, it was really intriguing. I think on Dreamcast I have the Sonic game that was apparently the launch game. And like I didn't realize, but like all those games apparently put like a bunch more money, like a lot more money gets put into the launch titles. It's like make them look good. Same thing with 64 and like all these other things. I thought that was super intriguing to
Oh,
like learn that process.
Well, and the
yeah. You
launch
remember?
title is like the perfect example. I think it's still the best selling game of all time was Wii Sports because
Oh,
it
really?
came with the Wii.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I mean, as silly as it was that it's like, oh, it's Wii golf and tennis and boxing. I think was the third one and the first one.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
that game is the most like the biggest selling game, and I think it outsold one of the Mario's.
Yeah.
Not important, but which one was y'all's favorite in the Wii Sports? Like which little sports
Bowling.
mini game?
Mm.
Oh yeah, bowling was
Oh,
clutch too.
bowling was cool. No, actually, the Papa Shot basketball.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
I just like tennis was my thing. I was really into the tennis,
I
and then
gotta
they
Or
agree.
had
like
a sword.
darts.
It was
I
like
thought darts
darts,
was cool.
bowling. I
So
love
did
the
you do
Papa
tennis
Shot.
like the like where you're like, okay, cool, like the little wrist flick is the perfect shot, or did you go all out and you're like, all right,
Oh,
hold on,
full body.
let me put the headband on and like try to get the proper form.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
was proper form all the way. I was jumping like across the living room, back and forth.
It was
It was a
very
good
good
workout.
exercise. Yeah,
Yeah, it
definitely,
was.
definitely. No, but like it's funny, like those launch games, and I think Brandon, I remember when you talked about that documentary, that series about the video games, like the retro video games that was on Netflix, and they kind of
Mhm.
go, and then you kind of go through console to console, and they talked about like when Sega was looking at Nintendo, they're like, what can we do to kind of get on that level? And then they showed like some of the game concept artists. I think they went to New York and they drew like a hedgehog and like some other animals, and they're like, what do you guys think about these animals? And then like a bunch of people are like, oh, what's that? And then that's how they came up with Sonic, I think it was. It's like something
Yeah,
similar to that. It was pretty wild. And then they're like, okay, this is the winner. And then like they launched the massive game which ended up being Sonic, but it was just like a couple concept renders,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're like, all right, this is what we're doing.
That one will work. And then
Yeah,
it's
let's
like,
do
I
it.
don't know. Probably, I don't know. I don't know. I would be curious to know like where one could rank Sonic on like the pantheon of sort of like video game
Mascots.
notables, you know? Yeah, in a way. Like we talked about Samus like briefly, like she was
Yeah.
mentioning, you know, like I mean you just think about like the ones.
Well, I
you
mean,
know?
it's
I
kind
think-
of that's what Smash Brothers is now. I mean, Ultimate is all of the they put. I mean, outside of a few that people are like, why weren't they the last character added? I mean, I know Crash Bandicoot kind of became like the Sony mascot for a while. I don't know if Xbox ever had like a weird stuffed animal type mascot.
Yeah, I don't think so. But that's why I love, yeah, Super Smash Brothers, because you have all like these old classic characters just battling it out from across platforms. Sonic versus, Wario, and Kazuya versus Solid Snake from Metal Gear. It's just like
Mm.
so cool.
Solid Gear action. That's legit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, Zelda's probably got to be the big one. Hey, although they made a Zelda movie.
No,
They made us.
there's talk.
made
I
a
think they were
Zelda
doing an animated one, and I know Netflix bought the rights to it a couple of years ago. So I don't know if
Okay.
they were planning on doing an animated series or something, but I think Zelda's the one you have to really treat with kid gloves because everything they've done has pretty much been perfect, even gameplay wise.
Yeah.
Like, and the stories are so much there. Like, you can't risk making a video game movie. Like Street Fighter, for example. Like, I mean, Van Damme's awesome, but if the new Mario that's coming out is anywhere near that from I think like a fan enjoyment level, it's not going to be pretty.
I mean,
Yeah, so that's a great point to bring up, Tommy. What are everyone's thoughts on the recently released news of the Mario movie coming out? I was like fucking geeked, man.
I thought
like,
it was fake.
oh really?
It did. Like, they just threw a whole random list of like, here's 12 celebrities that are going to be.
I asked them
Yeah.
on my stream, I'm like, is this real? And everyone in my chat was like, no, you've been fooled. You've been bamboozled. It's not actually real. So I don't know what to believe.
yeah. I mean, this is gonna be the second one ever made, right? Because the one that came out back in like 1991 or something like that. Remember that?
The elevator
Oh,
lullaby.
Yeah.
It was like
Two
terrible,
plumbers.
like the little turtles or whatever they.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Then they just,
bad,
like, look
but like,
like
I think it's
real,
so
like,
bad it's good
real.
now.
Yeah, it is. It was so bad it's good. And I mean, I just watched. Speaking of video game movies that were not great. I just watched the new Mortal Kombat. I don't know if you guys saw the
I
latest
like
one.
that. I'm
It
for
was
it.
I mean, I
good.
thought it was cool. The story was just like,
Yeah,
okay.
I heard the story was lackluster.
And it could have been good, and then it was like, wow.
It's like a mini series. It feels like a mini series. Like they're really trying. You can't go to you can't touch on all the parts. So they know what they're doing.
I
They're
feel
really.
like it'd be really cool as a TV show to go from the very beginning because it has so much lore and it keeps going, like with all the new game releases, rather than just a movie. But
It was a TV show back in the day. It was like one of those like
Yeah.
late Saturday night, like you stayed up too
Oh,
late and
really?
your parents didn't realize it.
oh shit,
There was a Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat like that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't
early
know that.
2000s, I want to say.
Wow.
damn.
I mean, I will say, like, so I think I've gotten to the point, like, I'll post on my Insta sometimes, like, I watch these just god awful movies on Amazon that are, like, on Amazon Prime. Like, the one I just watched the other night was called, let's see, let me look up the name real quick. I'll get to my point with it. But so, the name's called Max Cloud. And it was like this girl gets sucked into a 1980s video game and then has to like battle through this side scroller. And it's absolutely the worst, like terrible movie.
Sounds
But I'm-
pretty cringe.
But I'm so for it, and I just kind of realized that I'm like, at this point, anyone who's willing to like make a video game movie, I'm just going to watch it because it's just like you've taken the time to like go at it. And so kind of to the Mortal Kombat point, it's like, yeah, like obviously Mortal Kombat like isn't amazingly watchable, but the graphics were pretty decent,
Oh,
you know, like
graphics
they
were
weren't.
amazing. The visual effects were amazing. As
Yeah,
someone
like
who
it's
does like minor visual
yeah.
effects, they were great. Everything was like,
Hmm.
it was really cool. You just, when the story's not solid, um, it doesn't really matter what any of that stuff is. But like,
Hmm.
you can see what they're doing. They're setting themselves up to have another one come out, and they're gonna go
Sure.
into like different level. I feel like I watched the first season of like Lost or something, but not nearly as good. And
Hmm.
then it's like the second season, they introduce like this whole different concept. So I'm excited for the next one to come out. I think it's always cool when a movie comes out, from a game that you're very familiar with the story and the gameplay and like the characters. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking
Well,
forward to all these. I'm like, when's the Metal Gear Solid like movie gonna come out? Like,
right? You'd
you
think.
know,
I feel like
There's
that's very Kiefer.
Makes
Like
me nervous.
Kiefer Sutherland.
I can see that talking in a whisper, like, hey, we gotta get out of here.
I mean, it's Jack Bauer, basically just with a different name.
Yeah, and have like all the same audio cues, like when he gets the call on his like codec or whatever that thing is.
Well,
Snake. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
there's a movie I would recommend you all called Max Reload, Nether Blasters. It is on Amazon. And that one actually I really like. It's got Kevin Smith in it. It's like shot out of a like place in like Scottsdale, but it was a really good one. So if you're looking for a cheesy like C-list movie to watch, video game late night stuff, that. I'll also say I laughed the other day pretty hard because I think to Apple's point when she was saying like some of her viewers were saying like, oh, you got bamboozled or whatever, it was like when it came out, people were, I think, lamenting Chris Pratt and some others, and I didn't really care too much about that. Like, I think he's a good actor. Like, whatever, he'll do a fine job for the point of not caring how good it is. But then they were like, why wouldn't you just go get the guy who actually did the voice of Super Mario? Like, hey, it's me, you Mario. Like, that
Awesome.
guy's still alive. They're like,
I think
that
he's
could
gonna
just
have
been
a
your guy
part.
right there.
He's gonna have a
That
part
was-
in it. But
I hope so.
I mean, did Mario ever have any really drama lines though? Like he'd be like, I can't picture like, oh no, I can't believe you did that. Like, I mean, it's.
Just
I'm
a
so
pizza man the
I'm
whole
so
time.
sad. Yeah, like I mean, it reminds me of the what was it, Robot Chicken, where like Mario and Luigi went to the Grand Theft Auto Liberty City and Vice City.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Can
Oh,
you
no.
guys
You got any of the mushrooms? I needed the mushrooms.
can you guys name any of the actors from the original Super Mario Brothers film from 1993?
I will defer to everybody else and wrap up at the end.
God, I'm trying to remember.
I mean, you can get two of them, I think.
I was so worried when I heard about the Mario movie before anyone said anything. I immediately thought it was a live action. And so when I heard that Chris Pratt was gonna play Mario and then whatever was gonna play whatever, like how the hell is that gonna work? He looks nothing like Mario. That makes no sense.
maybe they'll just give him dark hair or something.
He's gonna
like
get in
that.
shape for
Yeah,
it.
I think it'll be all right.
I
think
feel like it might be an animated movie, but I'm not sure.
It's gonna be animated.
Is it?
Okay,
Okay.
because I'm like,
Okay, cool. It's gonna be probably better than having John Leguizamo.
As Luigi,
And
Bob
was it Tony
Hoskins.
Shalhoub?
Bob Hoskins was Mario.
And
Toad.
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper was Koopa. He was King
Dennis
Koopa.
Hopper.
Yeah.
Samantha Mathis was Princess Daisy.
I was trying to remember who the princess. What was she in? What else was she in?
I have no idea. Who was Peach in it?
I think Daisy was Peach back then.
Oh, Princess Daisy. Okay.
And the only reason I think you're right, Tommy. I was watching this. There's a really good video series on right now called The Video Game Years. Put on like Pat the NES Punk and like some of these I would call them somewhat notable like retro gaming dudes, and they're really good. They go through like just 1 year at a time, and they were mentioning the other day for Game Boy. Apparently there was like a Super Mario kind of like spin-off for Game Boy, and it came out and like it had like all these kind of like sub characters. I don't know. You might guys remember the game better than I do, but it was like Princess Daisy, not like the Queen, and it was all these like kind of side weird things. So I think they were one and the same, but they had different names because apparently there was a different director for the Game Boy version than the console versions because they were just like, well, handhelds, you be the director instead of like the original dude, which I thought was kind of funny. So that's my story about that.
Well, and I think a lot of them are in the new
Thank
Mario
you for
Karts too.
sharing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, this. Welcome to our show. It's kind of like an AA meeting. Thank you for sharing. Would someone like to go next? It's pretty. We didn't even like. Hey, this is what we're doing tonight. We're just like, yeah, let's just jump straight into the convo. It's very, very free form.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People want to talk about retro video games.
Yeah, speaking of AA, I'm thirsty. I'm gonna go get something to drink because I'm still trying to get the show sponsored.
I know. I just wanted to point out Fanta is not a sponsor. Step it up, Coca-Cola. We got to stay hydrated while we're.
Mm-hmm. That's legit.
Apple, who would you want
I'm-
as a sponsor? A beverage sponsor.
A beverage sponsor. Oh God. I think Bud Light.
Bud Light. I would be
Yeah.
so thrilled.
I feel
I'd
like
wear
this
a
would be
Bud
like
Light shirt.
wild, chaotic time, but
Other-
I'm
other-
here
other-
for it.
Other way, Brad, because the mic's blocking the Gatorade bottle. There you go.
Looking at you,
Product
Gatorade.
placement.
Gator-
Product placement.
This is
Send
going to
us
be
that
0
check
for
so
2
we
if they
can
don't
cancel.
sponsor us after the show, Brad.
All right.
What was the other one we missed out on? Mountain Dew, I think.
Kick.
I think maybe we should just say water. We're
Surge.
sponsored by water.
Yeah, sponsored by
Won't
water.
say no. Water won't say
The
no.
CEO of all water is gonna email us like, "Don't you ever say that again."
Is that Poseidon?
Is that
I guess.
Poseidon gonna email us?
look
Be
at
like,
Big Water
"No,
really
I,
cracking down
You're
on
so
us.
angry. This
Yeah.
Lord
Big
reaches out.
Water. Big Water cracking down, man. You know, it's out there looking out for you. They're everywhere. Literally 70% of the world. That's legit. That's real legit.
I'm glad, as a very natural segue, and I'll pretend it is as such. You guys all mentioned Xbox was your favorite console, or one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's actually the game that we're playing. Tiger Woods 2004. A little bit of post Ryder Cup celebrations. A little bit of like getting in that last round of golf. Brad is all ready for it. Are you saving the glove or
Yeah.
until we hit the tee box?
I was
or?
there.
And then we're gonna jump into some Tiger Woods 2004. So, hope carry on some of the same banter. Had to play with the layout. It's gonna look pretty.
Awesome.
We'll go with
Insane.
awesome.
Super cool. Swaggy.
Super dope.
It's gonna look something.
Busted.
I'm gonna say something, and then
Busted.
people can pick from those 4 options.
Okay.
Did you go up Sunday, Brad? Were you up there?
Oh yeah. Yep. First hole, we saw Bryson DeChambeau hit the ball off the moon onto the green and hit the eagle putt. It was pretty sweet.
Wow, dude,
Yeah.
your
Trying
Adam
to reach the
Sandler
green.
movie quote was so good.
Trying to reach the green from here. There, Stuart Trio. I beg to differ. Bryson DeChambeau accomplished that feat no less than a minute ago. It was pretty sweet. It was very, very
It's
cool.
so good. It was
I
just
know.
such a spot-on reference.
I mean, you kind of had to go there. I was
EA
looking for any
Sports. It's in the
opportunity to
game.
pull in Happy Gilmore.
yeah.
I was really,
I
really
vibe
happy
with
with
that.
that.
I vibe with that.
Yeah,
It's
we were
in
on the
the game.
15th hole though, like when Rom got beat by
Tiger
Scotty
Woods,
Scheffler, who
PGA
went
Tour
birdie, birdie,
2004.
birdie, birdie to go up +4 to start. It was nuts.
Yeah,
It was super cool.
that's dope.
Tiger Woods, y'all.
I will say, Tommy, for what it's worth, the 4. I love your layout that you created for the gameplay mode. So.
Might be able to do that. Yeah, you
I
can
just
really
like being
see
able
all
to
the
see the
stage.
full thing. That's cool.
Oh yeah, here we go. Can I wear this?
Wow, this is from 2004. The graphics.
This is.
Should I just wear
Incredible.
this?
I would have thought this was from this year. Wow.
Yup.
I-
2004 was a
The
special
Ryder
time.
Cup art.
A little bit of a shout out to
Tiger Woods,
DMX.
PGA Tour 2004.
Obviously,
Shout out.
Yeah, on this track.
yeah, he was the one that was the main intro track,
Nice.
and
R.I.P. bro.
obviously like the amazing fashion choices made in 2004.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, so obviously we remember we did, what was it, Gotham Racing, where it's like, oh, you're actually kind of good at this game, and there's random medals. I haven't touched this since, so we'll see. I'm pretty sure I even
Perfect.
created myself in here, so we'll jump into. That's not me.
If you can please play as yourself, that
Can
would be
we
best.
please see your character? Is that him? Yep.
No,
that's you.
that was not me. I will say, that was some I forgot Sal something. I forgot his name.
Sure.
Oh, this
sure
is me.
It was sale something.
Whatever.
This
That's
is
who
me
It was.
with the very comfy slacks.
Oh, is that you?
It's a lefty.
Comfy
Yep, then it's
slacks.
definitely me.
Are you lefty?
I am a lefty.
The things you learn some nights. I tell you what.
God. Tommy, can I have some money? Looks like you're making some good bank.
For this
Looks like
game,
it's been
or
a good year.
where? I have no idea where the hell the green is. I won't go there.
So I still am curious. I don't know if now is a good time to ask the question. But I still
Green and
genuinely
one, why not, right?
Now's the time. Now's
Always
the time.
So, because like I said, I don't know. It's 50-50. So, us as a society, do we love Tiger Woods or do we hate
What do
him?
you have down there, David?
Not a lot of good things. Tall grass, long way to the hole under the circumstances. Tough spot here.
Because the one side is, oh my god, he's the greatest golfer to ever exist, and he clearly has video games. And then the other 50% is, fuck that guy. So I don't.
Here's a question. How do you feel? How would you answer your own question?
I think I don't like him.
You think you don't like him? Okay.
Yeah. I've heard that he's like not a good husband, not a really nice dude, kind of a crybaby, and he cheats a lot. And is just kind of a womanizer. So that's what I have
Yeah.
in my head for him. So I
And those
don't
would be
like him.
negative characteristics. You're saying
The
those are
Betty Ninefall
negative
is well
traits
known
in
for the
someone.
solitary
Those
tree,
things.
Positioned dramatically
Yeah,
along this
personally,
par 4
I-
Okay,
fairway.
right.
Water's
In your
a big
book,
factor
in
here,
your
so make
book,
sure you
Okay,
you think
fine.
of those as
Keep your
non-positive
approach
characters.
shots
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm the
left to
only
avoid
one
the
actually. So
He definitely did not win Husband of the Year when he was married to what was her name? Elin Nordgren?
Elon?
Elon. Yeah. And I mean, it's a whole different life, right? You're like in the center of the golf world.
you're
This
pro golfer.
crazy, yeah, popular.
distance catches the rough.
It's the Bill Burr thing. He's like, really? Can you imagine like having to deal with all of his pressures?
Yeah. I mean, he went from the top to the bottom, and then back to the top, and it was a pretty crazy show to watch. I mean, like watching him hit rock bottom, and you see him doing these interviews, and then he had all these injuries, and then you're like, gosh, wow, I had no idea that he was a womanizer. He did all these things, and then
Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't
Yeah.
know that golf could get you like so much
Yeah.
tail. I guess like I feel like everyone would just pick up golf
Yeah.
if they knew that the women like it so much.
I have to say, I love a good comeback story. And you see where someone starts from. I mean, he was pretty much at the top right away when he came on tour, and no one's ever gonna break. I mean, some of the records that he has is ridiculous. But yeah, he's made a lot of mistakes in his life. But as someone who's watched him his whole life, and you kind of watch and you see all the things he goes through, and he's at the bottom, and then he comes back and he battles through the adversity. You know, I love a good comeback story. So I was really happy when he won the Masters, and as someone who's been watching him his whole life, it's just that was, you know, sports is a unique thing,
Number
right?
11 is similar in design
But
to the third
yeah, it doesn't
hole.
excuse
The
for
only
all the
difference
things
on
that
this
he
par
did
4 is a slightly
to,
more
you know,
open.
his wife and
Yeah,
all those
and
things.
doing bad things doesn't make you a bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard
true.
to separate that sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I would say my take on it would be that like he was a prodigy. So I think sometimes over time that has somewhat been like forgotten to some degree, and I think that'll come into kind of like my secondary thought on the matter is that like he's never lived a normal life. Like Tiger Woods was on like, you know, the equivalent of the Jay Leno show when he was 3 years old,
Oh yeah.
like putting, you know, and like there was no secret who was going to be number one on the tour when he was a rookie. Like the guy is just a prodigy when it came to golf. And I do think that, to your point, Brad, you know, it wasn't just that he was the top of the golf world. Like he was at maybe the nearest or top of the sports
The
world.
sports world for sure.
which is a different pantheon all to
Tell me,
itself.
David.
So it's
Well,
kind of like,
I'll
you know,
tell
to
you
your
more
point,
after the
Apple,
story.
like,
Can I read
oh,
it,
if
Dan?
dudes knew that they'd get this tail from golf, they'd golf. It's like, it wasn't actually because of, like,
This
golf.
looks really
It just so
good.
happened he played golf, and then, like, at the time, being a minority, like, it played, everything was perfect. He was the best golfer there'd ever been. He was a minority. It was blah, blah, blah.
More double bogeys like
And
that
so
would
I
be
kind of
finding
feel
me a
like
hobby.
all of those things to say that I kind of give him the Barry Bonds treatment that, like, I think today society has sort of actually, I think, moved on from him. I would categorize fairly quickly. I think if he were to come back, he'd elevate back again to probably one of the most prominent
The fairway on this hut
athletes
hole
in the
is
world if
lined
he
with
could get like
3
top 10
bunkers on the
ranking kind of a
right
thing in
and
golf
one on the
again,
left.
because I just think
The
golf
second
is,
shot is
real desperate
uphill
for
and needs
that
to
type
carry
of
a large bunker
prominence.
in the right front
And I
of the
think
green.
time will forgive him. Also because he plays golf. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's like Kobe was. I don't think it's like some of these other prominent athletes where, like, I don't know, you get less. Like, golf's such like a gentleman's game. I just think like time will forgive him for his transgressions. And he will just be remembered as this
Well,
like
get out the stopwatch.
prodigious
This isn't coming down
best
for a while.
golfer of quote unquote all time, and like a lot else will be forgotten. That's kind of where my take is on
I
it.
completely agree. And one thing I wanted to mention is there's that documentary about him. I haven't seen the whole thing, but from what I hear, when they kind of talk about his dad, and his dad was like a big womanizer, and that's where he got a lot of those, characteristics. Yeah, and I agree. From like a little bit older generation watching Tiger Woods, it's like time
It's on the
does
green.
heal all wounds, really. And watching him kind of be on the bottom for a while and then come back and the glorious triumphant return in the Masters to win the green jacket, I think that was one of the best stories in sports. But yeah, it's a very, very good question. Thank you, Apple, for asking that. 'Cause
Yeah, of
Handle
course.
the pressure
Outstanding
there to
question.
sink that for
Yeah,
you.
Tommy, what do you think? You got any things that we
Yeah.
haven't blabbered on about?
I have to just chime in and say Brad has the perfect golf announcer voice. As I'm playing, also, like, I thought it was the game kicking in for a second. He's like, "So I just want to know, what do you guys think about Tiger Woods?"
Tommy just hit the ball into the water for the third time. He's actually hitting his fifth shot, and he's going with the 3-wood. He should be going with a pitching wedge and just pitching it straight to the right.
The
But
most
he's
picturesque hole on the
you hit
course
a
lays
long ball.
downhill to a
Tommy.
fairway that
229.
dogs like
Do you,
slightly
do you
to
see the
left
conditions that
around
I'm
the
golfing in?
cluster
Look
of
at these
bunkers.
winds.
Yeah, gusting.
It's a bit
A little
gusty out
spin on
today.
it. That's what you need.
Wait till you
very
see the wind
fair.
on the next tee shot. This is insane.
What?
I know.
what-
I was gonna say on a
30
on a comical note, my dad called me this week, and he lives in Texas, and he was like, "Hey, do you remember when you were like 9 or 10 years old? I was on a business trip, and I bought you this card." And I was like, "Oh my God, I remember it like it was yesterday because my parents are divorced. I was at my mom's,
Yeah,
and I
that's
had
not-
gone into
Get over.
I'd
Come on.
gone into the well house and found some matches and was lighting matches in this well house. And so then when I came back inside, my
David,
mom was like,
what's the
Brandon, what are you
situation?
doing? And I
About
was like,
110 yards
nothing,
to
but I
hold
just
here,
reeked of
guys.
smoke. And so I got in trouble. And so I had to tell my dad that I lied to my mom. So he had bought me a Barry Sanders rookie card. And then because I had done that, he took it back. Like, so I lost my Barry Sanders rookie card because like I had lit matches in the well house.
Dan, this is a nice
And
line.
so literally he calls me
If
this
you
week and
happen
he's
to
asking
be
me,
a
"Do you remember when I bought you that card?" And I was like, "Oh my God." Like, I've never forgotten that moment in my entire life.
Oh my god.
And he was like, "Well, good news.
Poor
I
birdie.
bought you a Barry Bonds rookie card." And and I'm just like,
Oh
whatever. Like, I already have a Barry Bonds rookie card. But the point was, it wasn't a Barry Sanders.
Look
So I
at
had to be
this.
like,
Look at this.
"Oh, Dad, so thoughtful.
on the mark.
Not actually the card that you bought me." Like, and he was just like, "Oh."
In
I'm
all
like,
honesty, though,
sorry.
probably a Barry Bonds rookie card after. I mean, isn't that gonna be worth a little bit more than Barry Sanders rookie card?
I don't know. I mean, I've already got
Sentiment there.
I've got one over here that's like a near mint 8. I don't know. I mean, they're not like stupid expensive, but regardless, it's a super kind act. I bring it up because in that same way, it reminds me like Barry Bonds, Tiger Woods. Like, we were talking a little bit, my dad and I, about that, and it's like Barry Bonds is in the same space. Like, if you just look at the stats, Barry Bonds is the best baseball player of all time. Like, he has.
I don't think it's even close, to be honest. Barry Bonds was walked with the bases loaded multiple times.
He was
Yeah,
the best
that's-
hitter.
Sure, hitter. That's fair.
I mean, I think he's the best baseball. I mean,
Better than
that's the most
Shohei? Like, I
dom-
mean, look at what Shohei's doing now.
I know that's ridiculous, but the thing is, he had what 73 home runs in like a zillion walks, and he was walked. I mean, the most dominant baseball season I think in the history of baseball. That's not even close.
Yeah, tough to argue that.
And then you want to talk about Otani today? Yeah, it's incredible what Otani's doing. Like they shut him down, whatever. I don't. Are they gonna? They're not gonna make the playoffs.
Should have a chance at it.
No, they're out.
Yeah, I mean,
Apple, does the name Otani mean anything to you?
Shohei Otani.
Absolutely not. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Good.
he's a very talented baseball player. Japanese. I think this is his second year in that major leagues.
Might be.
Or is this,
Tiger's got nothing.
yeah,
on
but
you.
it's
You're
really rare.
just a
So Babe
genius.
Ruth was a very. Do you know who Babe Ruth is? The famous baseball player who was a slugger. He hit a lot of home runs, but he also pitched a lot too, which is like very rare to see in baseball. Because baseball, it's like you're a first baseman, so you got to hit the ball, and then you play first base. Like not a lot of pitchers that hit the ball. And Shohei is just like.
That's simply amazing.
Yeah, that's the jam.
Looks
Yeah,
like a little
very,
hook
very cool.
Let's go, lads.
Sorry.
Like to see like, a pitcher that can hit like home runs and so.
Rolls in the birdie putt.
I watched
What
a
drink you
documentary. So what?
What drink do you have? Who are we trying to get sponsored by? Do you have a drink we can get
Uh,
sponsored by?
Sponsored by Popeyes.
Yes!
Hey,
Yes!
hey.
Yes.
Perfect.
Popeyes, this goes out to you. Well, we'll take
You guys are
Popeyes. God, we need to get sponsored by Popeyes. They would drop
The
us off
demanding
Popeyes
ninth
chicken
hole is well
before
known
each show.
for a solitary tree
I'd be about
positioned
that life.
dramatically along this
Wow,
par
down
four
with
fairway. Water is a big factor here, so make sure you are accurate with your tee shot.
Tommy,
Yeah,
how you doing there?
Gatorade's got to step. I ended up redoing another challenge. I think it's the same challenge, but I totally blew it on the last one.
Well, 30-mile-per-hour winds.
It's a little rough.
That's not good for anybody. That was an amazing drive, though. I don't know if you saw me give you the golf clap when you cleared those bunkers.
Here, can you can you see? Like I don't know how much of a slight delay is. I don't want to spoil where I'm aiming this next one to see if it works.
Let's see.
I'm about 10 minutes behind, so you
Yeah,
just loaded
only-
the game up. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Are you playing? Finally, Jesus.
Yeah, I was gonna say thanks for finally playing the game. Hands are so big.
Extra distance.
I mean, is your character wearing like a Rolex?
Some kind of watch, I'm sure.
Wow. Oh my god. Did you do that? You just did that. Wow, and you spun it to the right. 363 yards. Bryson DeChambeau over here. Wow.
This I can't believe how fake the whole what you call it, like the spin is in this game though. Like I have no
Oh, yeah.
idea how any professional golfer can do something where it's like, yeah, we're gonna spin the ball 90 degrees to the right as soon as I hit it, and still crush it or do whatever you need it to.
That's right.
So what I find interesting is like, Tommy, you've got Brew City Bowl coming up on the 16th that you're doing. Obviously, Tecmo Bowl is a game that you can play a lot of tournaments with. Like, I was thinking the other day, why not Tiger Woods Golf? Like, why would that not make a retro tournament comeback? It's like literally set up to compete. Is it like because the players are better than each other, or like can be by course? Like, I was thinking, why no retro Tiger Woods Golf tournaments?
Well, it could be, and like it was actually. Remember, like, I think we were talking about the whole thing about doing the Carcade Open this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Playing
I recall.
actual video games on a golf course, even if they are golf video games, is a really weird reaction. Like, some people are like, "Oh, this is really awesome," and other people are like, "Dude, like this is a golf course. Like, get out of here, weirdo." Like, it's such a such a different vibe, and I'm trying to like put it as delicately as possible. But I mean, I was playing Tiger, Mario Golf, and like some. I think Lee Trevino fighting golf, like something just to like a couple different genres, different generations, different consoles. And they look different, they play different, and it was one of those things where I'm like, you could just feel people's eyes, like, I can't believe you're here doing this. And then other people are like, oh my god, this is awesome, and then their kids would come up and play. So it was such a polarizing reaction, and
A
B,
mixed bag.
indeed. And it wasn't course approved.
I just think like Golden Tee. People love Golden Tee.
Well, so that was my idea, was obviously with the two screens going to 9 different courses. You could have hole 1 be Tiger Woods on Xbox, hole 2 be Golden Tee on the right screen, and then you're at a different course, a different park, whatever. And then the next week you can do Mario Golf and, you know, PGA Tour 2K21.
Number 11 is
Cool.
somewhere in
And
the
so,
center
like,
of the
do you-
third hole. The only
Go ahead,
difference
Tommy.
on this par 4 is
Go
a
ahead,
slightly
keep going.
more open
I was gonna
target
say,
area
so like, I
off
mean,
the tee.
there's,
The
like,
green
I've
sits
kind of got the
fairly
blueprint and
low
the idea
at the
for it. It's
edge of
just
the lake,
tweaking
which
it so
makes
it
for
reaches
some
the right
top-end
audience, I
positions.
think.
But like number 3, it's
I
another
was just gonna say, do you know what the most underrated golf game that exists in video games today is?
There was one I actually played a lot on the PC. Are we sticking to console or are we talking PC?
Oh, I'm talking about Grand Theft Auto 5. When you can break into the country club and play golf, and like they have a legitimate.
What?
It's amazing. Like it blew my mind when it was quarantine. I was so bored, out of my mind. I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5. My buddy bought it on my console, and I had no idea it was even on there. And like it sat there for like 2 years, and then it's like we were. I mean, my wife and I are just chilling out. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm so fucking bored." Excuse me, pardon my
safely on
French.
the green, a
But
long putt,
I was
but it's
playing
on the surface.
the golf simulator at the country club, and it was like it's amazing. It's so good. Like it's like as good as Tiger Woods. Like the golf simulator. Like you can like hit the fairway, you can put spin on the ball, like the putting, and then if you lose to like the Club Pro, you can just steal his car, and then or you can drive your car directly onto the golf course, which is pretty fun too.
Oh,
So,
I shouldn't have did that.
Very underrated.
What I would really like to see
Kaylee,
that's
did you-
interesting is, so, playing golf games on an actual golf course, but playing VR golf. So you're doing almost everything real because you're on a golf course, but you're actually not playing real life golf. You're playing it virtually, but you're still like, I don't know. I think that concept's really interesting. I'd love to do that.
That'd be great because then I couldn't lose 95 balls around. That'd be
Exactly.
wonderful.
We have that spot here in the city that does that. I think it's still open. 4, right on water.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there's like X Golf now that does some stuff like that too, I think. But Kaylee, what did you play
fairway on
over
the
like
top
when quarantine was going like weird? Although I suppose in Texas it might have been a little different. But did you have any like go-to games that were like keeping you warm through the night when quarantine came crazy?
Well, I was an essential worker, so I didn't actually get to quarantine. I was working full time, overtime the entire time because people can't live without fast food. Apparently, it's very essential. Whatever. I was playing a lot of Skyrim though. That was keeping me sane. Because it was a completely different world I could immerse myself in, and I didn't have to be an essential worker in that world. I could be whatever I wanted. So as soon as I got home, I was playing Skyrim.
And you can basically play that one like into eternity, right? Is that kind of the one where you can just sort of like go level up, like level this, level that kind of a thing?
shot.
So you can do the quests, and I don't know how many quests there are. They say that there's infinite, but I think there's like over 200.
We're in the
But you don't
bunker on
have
the
to
third.
do them. And there's like side quests, and you can go explore and level up in certain things, and you can download mods so that you can do other things. It's never ending. You do whatever you want, basically.
I feel like I have there's a podcast I listen to, and I might be thinking of a different game, but I feel like it was Elder Scrolls. That's Skyrim, right?
Yeah, it is.
So the dude was saying that like it's this like game between people in that community who like are all about that game, where like he's like a level 99 wood worker or something, but the point was he was like, all I do is I sit there and I like chop wood, and he's like, and you just have to show that you've spent like 1,000 hours chopping wood to be like a level 99 woodworker or something like that. And he's like, there's no like value in it other than knowing that this person has spent 1,000 hours like in front of this repetitive task. And I was like, that's incredible.
Wait till you see the distance on this next drive that I did.
Oh yeah, 404 yards.
Totally real.
Yeah, that was. Pretty good. I saw the Happy Gilmore swing. I'm like, this is gonna be good. Pretty
Well,
good drive.
the fact that it was a 20-mile-an-hour wind too is kind of helpful.
Yeah. And that your character is doing steroids. That always helps.
That's in the sand. Oh.
That's a thing. And when you dress like that, I mean, the game is pretty easy.
So what levels are you
Get
in?
in!
I think the level I got in Skyrim is 53. She's my favorite character.
Just incredible.
And
I
is it
focus
in
all the
woodworking?
time.
Wow.
No, and I can't say it is. I'm doing. I'm focusing on smithing,
Way to
Right
take
now?
on the blocks.
or at least I was. I want the best weapons.
And then do you fight in Skyrim? Like, so once you get those weapons, do you kick
Oh, yeah.
people's asses?
Oh yeah, I'm constantly whooping ass.
Oh, good.
Constantly, yeah. It's a lot of fun. You can even get married in Skyrim and have a family.
Can you?
Yes, you can. You can adopt up to 2 kids. Because you'll go to different towns and there's children that will ask for money, or they'll come up to you and tell you their sad stories, or there's like an orphanage in one of the towns, so you can adopt kids and get married. It's very immersive.
And would your spouse, male or female, be a bot or another Skyrim player?
It is a bot. I think you could do something similar, or you could do something like that on Elder Scrolls Online, but I haven't played enough to know, so I can't say 100%. But it's a bot. Yeah, it's like an NPC. I'm married
Okay.
to a lizard man.
Are you?
Yeah,
Wow.
Good for you.
an Argonian.
catch.
Yeah, thank you.
That's, you know what, that's really, I think, reflective of an open personality. That just speaks to your willingness to accept people for who they are.
Yeah, I found him in a cave.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm dead on.
You're telling me that you found a lizard man in a cave, and that
Yeah.
became your spouse.
Yeah. Well, he became.
Yeah. So they might go away to
supposed to be post-divorce. That ain't supposed to work that way from the get.
Yeah, like how does the legal separation work?
Well,
Like,
okay, so ideally, when you get married to somebody in Skyrim, they live at your house. Like, you buy a house in any city you want, and they live there. But my husband has a glitch where he
does that like
he
affect
doesn't
his credit
stay.
score?
So
Or-
as soon as he wakes up, like in the morning, he runs.
Oh,
Like, he
wait till her
bolts.
lawyer gets a hold of
And so
that.
I have to like run him down the road. Like, hey, where are you going? He's like, oh, hi.
Your
I'm a
Honor,
lizard.
$400.
Your Honor, he's had a
Wow.
glitch for the last 3 years, and I just can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
how
gotta
does
go to the
legal
glitch
set- like, what
doctor?
happens?
The glitch doctor.
The glitch doctor, and you gotta get it looked at.
Yeah, I don't know why it happens. It's literally only his character that does that. Because his little family business is in some other like little town, and that's where he's supposed to go. I think when they were making the game, people didn't expect like, well, we'll give him the option to marry, but who the fuck's gonna want to marry him? He's a lizard. I do.
I know somebody. Yeah.
Love is blind.
Me.
Love is
That's what makes
blind.
me.
I mean,
guys-
if
That's
he
the
takes
lesson.
chicks in the cave and
Yep, you're pioneers in society. People don't understand you today, but in 60 years, people will be normal with this type of relationship.
He gives me a $400 allowance each week and makes me treats.
Listen,
you really can't say no to
That you can forgive a glitch if you're getting treats, like weekly treats. I mean, come on now.
I do.
I
hope that-
think
So he has a limp. Not a big deal. Have you had his brownies? They're amazing.
I think he's bussin'. That's what I think he's
Bussin'.
doing. He's bussin'.
dripping.
That guy.
Family recipe pods are definitely, unequivocally fucking bussin'.
It is
That's
what
a,
it is.
that's
Yes.
a turn of phrase. That's a turn of phrase. Unequivocally fucking bussin'. That is second time I said it, but probably the first time ever in the history of the world that
I'm
those
so
three
glad
dorks
you
have
knew
said
what that reference was because I said it at work the other day in front of all of my crew, and they just looked at me like, "You good? Like, never mind. Just forget I said
You're
anything."
like, it's called TikTok.
It's a
It's called
meme.
TikTok. Yeah, it's legit. I saw it. I don't know why, because I scroll through Instagram Reels like it's a job, but I know what you're talking about. I want to know though, like, so I mean, let's just talk about it. If you and Lizard decide go back to your towns, if the societal pressures become too much, how does that go down? Like, what do you do with the kids? Do they follow him? Like, is there precedent to this?
No, so I keep the kids because I had adopted them before I met them, so those are mine, my children.
Ooh, step lizard.
He says.
Oh, that's why. That's what happens.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I feel like
They're
this is
called
like an
Argonians, but we'll just call them lizard.
This is like a show waiting to be made, like Stepdad Lizard. It's like the perfect like cheesy '80s family entrance. Like
These are my favorite layers of the show when we get so deep into things like this and you just can't get out of them. I love it. I love it. I love that we're talking about this.
I have a picture of Lizard Man like walking through your house door, like taking his top hat off and like putting it on the corner rack
He's
off
such
with
a-
his leather jacket, you know?
did
Just being
you
like,
guys watch
Right, it's treats, bro.
WandaVision?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
That's how I picture Lizard Man. Like kind of like in those like coming in the house after work. Hi, honey.
All right, I'm gonna look this up. I'm
I
very.
ran to work. I ran to work today before you stopped me and took my money again.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, he's actually very handsome.
My husband, yes, very handsome.
Yeah, I mean, does he have like he's got horns on his head like this? Is that what they look like?
I think so. Yeah. Let me.
He's got horns. You know, there's lots of different lizard men to choose from.
Is he a
How did
horny
you
toad?
choose
What are we
between
talking
the
about?
lizard men?
Yeah, he's actually very handsome.
I
For-
know.
He's got a
He's a
charm
good-looking
about him.
guy. As soon as I
His-
saw him.
Now I want to
Eyes
see the
look like-
family photo, like the lizard man.
Wow.
Dude, okay,
The
let me
glamour
find out
shot
what my
family
daughter's name
photo.
is, 'cause I
Yeah, that's bothering me too. It's not cool to not know your daughter's name.
The Elder Scrolls.
I think Lizard's kind of making his case here. Be like, Your Honor, she doesn't even know our daughter's name.
oh no.
You gotta wonder, like Final Fantasy 3, like some of these early like Final Fantasy games, if you could ever like play characters like this, you know? Like I wonder what the first time was you could like do something with a lizard. Like
The
I'm sure
lizard
there's been
man.
some-
Rampage.
Comment.
Rampage, yeah.
Uh,
Ah, God, I missed out on Rampage 2 yesterday.
Have y'all played any of the Elder Scrolls games? Because there's quite a few.
Probably very early PC if I played any.
Mm-mm.
I heard that Morrowind is probably the best, hands down. I haven't played it too much, so
Okay.
can't say. Plus, I mean, I'm too invested in Skyrim, so I can't say that anything's better than Skyrim.
Would you say do you play it on PC or do you play it on console?
I played both. Mostly console though.
Really? What
I
for
prefer-
Xbox or what is it for?
Xbox. Yeah, I play on
Okay.
Xbox. It's my Skyrim on Xbox One. I have Skyrim and Morrowind and Oblivion on my PC, but I'd much
'Cause
rather
I was-
prefer to play them on console.
So is your Skyrim online? The one you're playing up to level 53 and all that? Like is it like connected to the web and such?
I don't think so. I want to say yes because they do have a page where in the home screen there's an area where you can download mods, but I don't know if it's connected to the internet and that's how you get the mods, or if they're already. I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm sorry, I don't know.
No, I'm thinking like if you were just playing like the straight playthrough and somehow there was an option to marry a lizard, like that's some good coding. Like whoever like coded that game, that's impressive. Like
Lucia. Her name is Lucia.
and Blaze. All right.
Lucia and Blaze.
Wow.
It's sad
And what's
too. 'cause you'll
Lizard?
go to
What's
other-
Lizard Man's name?
And the crab. I want to know the crab's name too.
Yeah, his name.
Your Honor,
I wanna-
She doesn't
I'm
even
looking
know
at
my
him. I'm
name,
just
Your
gonna
Honor.
guess. Is it like
His name is
Shrek?
weird. It's like Darketheus or something whack. I
Wow, Darketheus.
don't know his name.
That's
It
a name with
starts
some
with a D.
flavor. I ain't mad at that.
Yeah.
It starts with a D. So, you
And
know,
and what is yours? And what is your name?
Jane.
Jane.
Simple.
Perfect.
Of all the easiest
Darketheus and
things.
Jane. It's yeah, like
Yes, Darketheus and Jane.
You
Yeah, I
really
put
are
it into the
pioneers.
lovecalculator.com and it said we had a 85%.
So you guys
Right,
met?
good
That's how you guys met?
Yeah, we met on
Skyrim. There's a match.com on like Skyrim.
Skyrim.
I was doing a quest and I was walking over like a sewer grate kind of deal, but it's like a little dungeon. I just heard him from the bottom like, help.
Tinder
Oh,
was way
shit.
different back in those days.
Yeah, back in my day, we just went out. And
We had to scratch on the grate for people walking above us. That's how we met our significant others.
And that's how it happened. That's all it took.
What a world. What a time to be alive. This is
Amazing.
great.
That's very, very cool.
I think I would want to play that game on PC though, so I could just like sit in the dark and totally feel like I was in a different world. Like just like disappear into my like basement. That would
Well,
probably be a
that's
bad
a
thing,
lot of the
'cause I
games.
actually-
Do you guys ever play like any of the games on Steam?
No, not
Mhm.
really.
Darketheus. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Darketheus. I was basically right. I knew his name.
Darketheus.
I like to.
Darketheus.
Lucia and Blaze.
Yeah.
All right, family. I know the whole family now.
I feel
I have to
like
take a-
those are the dodgeball, the Globo Gym Cobras.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, they're so sweet. You can gift them things, and I always give them like the best weapons I possibly can. And they get so excited too when you give them like a dagger or a sword, because they'll immediately go to their room and they have these like little like dummies made out of hay, and they just like go ham.
So like,
hours.
like, what's Christmas like at your virtual house? Like, who's preparing? Like, whose family comes over? Like,
Darketheus makes the turkey.
does Darketheus, is he like a good host? Does like part of his, like, does he have a big family? Like,
He's
what does
never
that look
there.
like?
He's with his family. He runs off. I stay with mine. Just does his own thing.
Okay, so
Mhm.
that's cool.
Yeah,
I can
no,
respect that.
I mean, he gives it. It's kind of like we're almost not together, actually. He gives me money and then runs away. I use
Wow.
that money to buy stuff for my kids, so I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot of real life relationships that sound pretty similar in many respects,
I
but
was gonna
Yeah.
say, is that like, is that bad for your guys'
A
like
little too
virtual
real.
relationship? But like,
mhm.
No, you know,
the Skyrim
she-
the Skyrim coder knew. Like fuck this guy, my wife hates me. I'm gonna be Lizard Man. To be a little known glitch that no
This
one
is
knows
how you
about.
see me? Okay.
Yeah, that's how he sees himself. I just run here to Blizzard, whoever the game developer is.
I try to escape every morning and she still comes to get me.
I know.
I hope Darketheus gets that glitch looked at though. That's
Dude, he runs so fast, too. I'll have to,
I'm
like,
imagining this
record
coder. I run every day and she just always get me.
Just the ultimate catharsis that he has from like,
Yeah.
oh, it's somebody's finally living my life. Thank you, game.
And just how much happier he would knowing that out there Apple has taken his lizard character and loves him.
No,
And
or
I love you,
I love
Lizard
him.
Man.
like,
so
do you think
much.
like he like watches like Truman Show type and is like, come on, today's the day you get away, Lizard Man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's been looking in this whole time. That'd be great. That's why I was curious if it was online, because I'm like, I just can't imagine that like exists
That's
without like.
the beauty
real
of Twitch.
updates.
Even if you're not, everybody can kind of see it.
Yeah,
I'll definitely
that's.
have to stream it just so everyone can see.
Because I don't know that Brad or Tommy know, but what are your normal games that you stream, Apple?
I finally got a capture card, so I stream PS2 games now directly from my PlayStation 2. But before then, I was playing a lot of games with an emulator, so it was PS1 games, PS2 games, SNES games, and then really old PC games. So I've played a lot of Doom 1 and 2, and modded Doom 2 on my stream. I think that's what I'm most known for, is my Doom gameplays.
And you got that capture card figured out, hey? You feel like you got it doing what you need to do?
I need to buy a mic for it. It's a really weird capture card. It requires that you have a mic that's separate from your headset, but it works. It's good. I played and beat one of the best PS2 games ever. I can actually show it to you because I have it right here.
Yeah.
Larry Boy and the Bad Apple.
Nice.
Oh my
Veggie Tales game
gosh.
for PlayStation 2. God tier game right here.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
What
battle
was the total time from start to finish?
maybe 5 hours.
Okay.
It was about 5 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hard. I know it's made for children, but it's hard. It's really hard.
I mean, you have me beat. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's I mean it's a Veggie Tales, so the whole point of it is like you're fighting temptation. Who's an apple? Probably from the. I think they made her an apple because that's like supposed to be the fruit in the Garden of Eve. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I know Veggie Tales.
But I know Veggie Tales. I don't know.
I read Veggie Tales to my son like every other night. So.
I love Veggie Tales. I grew up on it. I know all of the silly songs.
Where's my hairbrush?
Oh, where's my hairbrush? Oh, where?
Yup.
I think we just found our intro for the video edit, Brad. I just would like
Yeah.
to make that.
Where's my hairbrush? Oh yeah, perfect.
What's your favorite Veggie Tales song? Is it "Where's My Hairbrush" or? Because there's like the songs and then silly songs. They're different.
Yeah, I usually do hairbrush. I mean, that's my most notable one. That's the one that my parents and I would sing as a young lad. But yeah, now I'm telling you, we got like we have a book, and so I read. Oh, there's like 7 different stories in the Veggie Tales book, and I've read them all 1,000 times to my son. So great.
I remember.
Oh, that is so great.
I remember back in the day, my lizard dad would read me the Veggie Tales.
Darkethius.
Yup.
Yes.
Oh, Darkethius.
Lucia.
Now,
Blake.
just because you pulled that game out so easily, have you bought any other recent games? Sometimes we'll do like a buy-sell section of the set. Have you been purchasing any new games recently?
I big games like it's nobody's business. I have there's 2 local retro gaming stores near me, and I'll go every once a month and just drop $200 sometimes. So $200
So
I
you
don't
have new games to show.
Well, they're not
thing.
new.
Drum roll.
Okay, well, I mean, I have games right next to me, so they're not like brand spanking new, but I can show them off to you.
Absolutely.
That's what we have the show for. That's what we do this
Larry
whole
Boy.
thing.
We got Larry Boy. We have Goddamn. Get rid of that. Churro Q. I looked for this game for years. I had it when I was like 10 or 11, and then my mom traded it in to GameStop for points or whatever the hell that was. And I'm like, Mom,
For stock?
Mother, why? And I forgot the name of it. I've been looking ever since for this game. Found it a couple months ago, so we got that. It's a
What is
Japanese
it?
race. It's a like little Japanese racing game, but you are a car. You don't drive cars. You're in this little car world. You have a little garage house, and you want to be a racer. You want to be this famous racer, and so you go and you learn how to race, and there's little racing sections. It's a lot of fun.
Cool.
I have Sly Cooper 2 and 3 here.
Nice.
These are all like next to my PlayStation because they're like my go-tos. I have Contra. Oh,
Ooh.
good game.
Oh, so wait, is that in the series then? Is that like Contra, the official like extension of the original?
Yes.
Wow. Have you played through it at all?
I tried. It's hard. I tried.
Is it like FPS or what's the gameplay?
Yeah, I would say it's a first-person shooter. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I'm sorry. I played it a lot on PlayStation 1, so
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
it's it's a little
Shoot some stuff, not get shot by other stuff.
You just shoot some stuff. It actually reminds me a lot of Android Cactus, if you've ever played that.
Okay.
Kind of similar. Well, Android Cactus is similar to Contra. Then we got God of War.
Ooh. People seem to fiend for that game. I have never played God of War, but when I'll go on Twitch, I'll see all these people still streaming God of War. Like, is it got some sort of cult following, or what's like?
Yes, it does. It's a good game.
Well, it was kind
scary.
of their response to Halo.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a good. It's a good stab. It was a good comeback. It's a lot of fun. I used to watch my dad play it all the time, and I would help him on like the little like puzzle parts. He's like, I don't know how to get past this. I'm like, Dad, here's what you got to do.
Is the red logo like on that God of War greatest hits? Is that how PS2 did greatest hits, or what is the red? Or is that just
Yeah. So the red is for the greatest hits, and then the
Okay,
black is
okay.
just normal,
Okay.
average, not the greatest hit. This one's obviously a greatest hit. How could it not be? Shrek 2.
Oh my
Wow.
God. What?
I prefer the racing game over the regular Shrek 2 game, but good nonetheless.
So do we think there's just a black label Shrek for PlayStation 2? Like
don't think
I
there
would
could
be
There would have to be, I
floored
would assume.
if there was enough sales. You can't tell me there's been enough sales of fucking Shrek to make a greatest hits version.
Well, honestly,
you
like,
gotta-
what better way would you do that? Like, hey, we're not selling. We have boatloads of Shrek back here, and it's not moving
Just
anywhere.
relabel that
Like,
shit.
just print a new label. Oh, it's the red label. Oh, it's a greatest hit. That's how
Yeah.
many we've sold. It's a greatest hit.
It's just like there's no way that enough copies of Shrek sold for them to be like greatest hit.
Can you
Like, I
imagine if
just
that was
don't
like
believe.
that was your like how you were
Everyone.
measured by success, like at Best Buy? Like, how many copies of Shrek did you sell this month? Sorry, man. No promotion for you.
Damn. Probably
So
just
you're saying
posted
though
Shrek
that
2.
the racing game is better than? I mean, I don't know. I got
Yes.
questions about
The
Shrek. I
Shrek
gotta
2
read up on
racing
Shrek.
game for PlayStation 2 is, in my opinion, better than just the plain old Shrek 2. This one's fun and all, but in Shrek 2, the racing game, you get to play as Prince Charming and you get to ride a horse. I don't know. That just in my head, in my like 10-year-old head, that's better.
If I may pose a question to our
Yes.
illustrious guest, one of the recurring questions we always ask on this show is, how far could Bieber be punted?
Mm-hmm.
Justin
Oh, yeah.
Bieber?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
you are correct. If you
Yeah.
know another Bieber, by all means, like, I want to know who this other Bieber is too.
His wife, I guess.
His wife. Well played.
Ha! She ain't lying. She
No.
ain't lying.
Mrs. Bieber. So,
Yeah,
so how far do you think Shrek could punt Bieber?
Another great question.
Into
asked.
another fucking dimension.
Ooh.
Into oblivion.
I think that
She
slightly
understands the
beats Kevin
assignment.
Nash.
She understands the assignment.
I mean, Kevin Nash was like 30 yards or something like that, so 60 feet. I mean,
No, like add it into
yeah,
The
I
fourth
mean that's
dimension.
a little bit further than Nash.
just a little bit.
I think Shrek takes the top seed right now.
90 feet. Yeah, that's probably gonna. I mean, who were the other candidates? I said like Roberto Carlos last time, so it's
Oh yeah,
Kevin Nash.
I forgot Roberto Carlos.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a bad action star in there too.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Maybe it was like Van Damme or like Steven Seagal or something.
Oh, yeah.
I just think of Nicolas Cage.
Ooh. Good. Yeah, we haven't thought of
Nicolas
Nicholas
Cage
yet.
would break his foot probably. Yeah, I mean that would be.
I don't know. I
Okay,
kind
so
of.
what's after Shrek 2? What else we got? You got any other games on that pile, or is that?
I have
all?
one left. I mean, I have hundreds over to my
Oh,
right, but
right.
the last one I have right next to me is Metal Gear Solid 2.
Hey.
Ooh,
What?
love that
That
game.
was a good game.
That was
Mhm.
such a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a transformational one to me. Like I feel like that one caught everybody, but it's
That
also
one and then
time of life.
and
Is,
number
is
3.
that the one with Liquid Snake? Remember Liquid Snake?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's in that one.
Was
It's
that
like-
his like arch nemesis? I can't remember.
Yeah,
What
it's like his brother, but like they
Or
hate
his
each
clone
other.
or something. I forgot how they did it.
He's blonde.
His brother, but he's actually a ghost, and he hasn't been there the whole time.
Whoa.
God, that makes me think of like the twist in the movie. Like when people try to are watching a movie with a plot twist and they try to guess the plot twist the entire time. It's his brother. He's a ghost. He's not real.
M.
the
Night
Matrix.
Shyamalan presents Metal Gear Solid.
This is the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't even an answer before the Matrix. You can't say that one. Oh, true. Okay. those are legit. I got a couple things that I snagged out. I think I didn't share. Obviously, I was talking about this one, Final Four 97. This game blows ass, and it doesn't have Marcus Camby, so I'm pissed. Waste of money. This game's kind of cool. I found the Mike Piazza Strike Zone game. Pretty sweet. Got some nice Mike Piazza-esque graphics on it. Box was in pretty good condition. Something about that. It's got all new 1998 rosters, including the 2 new expansion teams. Anybody want to take a guess at the 2 new expansion teams in
Arizona
1998?
Diamondbacks.
It's
Is
one.
one guess.
And the
With
Florida
the correct name. With their correct name, I will say that. We'll up the bar a little bit. The
Not the
Diamondbacks
D.
are one.
team. And is it a Florida team?
It is a Florida team.
Yeah, it's the it's not the Marlins. It's is it? Who is it? Who's the Florida team? I can't think of right now.
It's okay, just because they're not technically really a baseball team even today.
Well, they
so I
are.
don't
Well, yeah,
count it.
that's. Well, didn't they
If you
just
count,
win?
If you count fans,
No, they
if you
just
count
won.
fans in the stands, they don't count because they haven't had more than 25 fans in their stands in 27
But
years.
didn't they
so.
just win last
Yeah.
year, the year before? The Devil Rays.
Yeah, probably.
The Devil
The
Rays.
Devil Rays. Oh yeah, of course.
Who are now just the Rays.
Just the Rays.
Oh, really? They cut out Devil, huh? And then I got one I'm pretty snazzed about, I will say. NBA In the Zone 98.
Amazing game.
And I am stoked about this collection because of my man,
Penny
Glenn
Hardaway.
Rice. Right on the cover here.
Oh
And
man.
the cool thing is that in 99, he's got the Lakers jersey. So I really want 99 also, so I can have back-to-backs. And then it goes 2000, I think, is Marcus Camby. I want to say, or maybe Allen Houston and then Marcus Camby, one of the two, but it's fucking $250, so I'm like not able to ever find the stupid thing. But yes, so I'm stoked about my NBA in the zones.
Yeah. And Penny Hardaway. I mean, like the Magic team. I mean, In the Zone '98. That's a great game. I mean,
It calls out Penny right on the back.
yeah,
Over
Penny
300
on the
NBA
back, and
players,
then you have like
including Shaq, Sir Charles, Pippen, Penny, Ewing, Malone, and Glenn Rice. I feel like Glenn Rice kind of got like a little bit of a elevated status there. Like Shaq, Sir Charles, Pippen, Penny, Ewing,
Glenn
Malone,
Rice.
and Glenn Rice. Like
Well,
all
like,
the others
but
are
honestly,
Hall
like,
of
what?
Famers.
Who do you think? Like, what marketing meeting? Like, hey, who should we get for the cover of our game?
Glenn Rice. I
Well,
know,
it's
Like,
it's
You're his cousin.
I know,
Like, quit
hey.
suggesting Glenn Rice for every game, for every cover.
Ray
Like, we were
Rice, we
between
get it.
Glenn Rice.
Who do
we were between Glenn Rice and this lizard man named Darketheus.
Who should we? Who should we put on the cover of PGA 2004? Glenn Rice.
Could it maybe be Tiger? No, I think it's Glenn. Okay, Ray Rice, we get it. Yeah. So those are the ones I got, and actually, well, nothing will ever beat, to your point of, I like Glenn Rice, but he has no business being on this cover. Excuse me.
His cousin
Was
is
the
going to
most-
be pissed when he hears you say that.
I know he is. He's gonna be like, this fucking dude's and gal. They said that when I read on the back of NBA Jam 99 that Xavier McDaniel was the motion capture person, and I was like, on what planet did Xavier McDaniel become the motion capture person for an NBA Jam 99? It just absolutely beyond me. So that's my story. That's all I got in terms of new games.
Anything
I got
for
a
you,
couple more
Brad?
coming.
What was that?
Any new games for you?
I was actually gonna ask Apple a question. So was
Yeah.
that was for PlayStation 2, the Contra game, like the original? Have you ever played Shattered Soldier for PlayStation 2? With like it's like a different Contra game.
I don't think so. I've only played this one that I showed you, and then I think the exact same game for PlayStation 1, just like the original Contra for PS1. So,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. Well, I played really unique PlayStation 2 games. I didn't play the more popular ones. I played a lot of I mean, I played some popular ones like the Shadow of the Colossus or Sly Cooper. But I played like Scooby Doo, Night of 100 Frights. There was the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone game that I played. There was I don't even remember the name. It's like a painting game. You'd like paint a character, then that character would battle other characters. Eminem, Shell Shocked. But
What
the
is that?
PlayStation. Oh,
What is that?
oh my
It's
god.
candy.
Okay,
I
thank you
was
for
thinking
asking.
rapper first, but then it sounds like candy. I'm going with the.
Thank you so much for asking. I love talking about this game so much. Everyone else hates it. So, it starts out. So you're gonna go between being the red M&M and then the yellow M&M.
So it is candy. No shit.
Yeah, it's the candies. So you're working at this M&M shop, and they're making M&M minis. But then the M&M minis go crazy, and there's like an outbreak of the little mini ones. And you've got to go to the chocolate shop and stop it. So you and yellow M&M hop in the car, and it kind of is this. I don't even know how to put it. It's kind of like a little racing thing, but you're like dodging like boxes and collecting the little mini M&Ms. Kind of reminds me of like Crash Bandicoot almost. And then you go, and then it immediately turns into like a platformer, and you gotta fight and capture the little M&Ms. And then there's a song that they very clearly stole from Grand Theft Auto. And so every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's the M&M Shell Shock game. They're like, no, it's Grand Theft Auto. Don't ever say that again. Like, but it was an M&M Shell Shock.
Have you beaten Eminem Shell Shocked?
Yes.
How long do you think that takes? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I'm a pro, so took me days.
I'm just thinking like someone at Hershey's was like, we got to get in on these whippersnappers and their video games. Go make a video game. Like,
Wait, isn't Hershey and M&M different candy?
I don't know.
'Cause I want to say it's like
They
M&M
use
Mars.
Hershey chocolate to
Isn't
make
it M&M Mars and then Hershey?
Ooh, might be.
Mm.
Is that game nearby, Apple? Like, do you have the Shell Shock game within your hand reach?
I don't.
I
And
think
it
I think
makes me
now
so
Hershey is
sad.
gonna be like, dude, why did we never make a video game?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It could. If Hershey were to make a video game, I think it would just be for making s'mores. Like, I think you'd have to be at a campfire.
It's a Wii
like,
Sport. It's a
cooking the
Wii Sport
perfect
for
s'more.
s'mores.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a good time. I buy
Wii
it.
s'mores.
Wii Smorts.
S'mores.
Wii Sports. I like that, Tommy, a lot.
I don't do drugs.
Wait,
but I
That
feel
that
like I get
that one's free
tripped
for
out.
you,
Did I?
Nintendo. That one's free for you, Nintendo. You're welcome.
Here's looking at you. Here's looking at you, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Please
Okay.
send the demo copy of Wii Smorts to this address.
It'd actually be kind of like rhythmic, like to just be sort of like sitting in front of your TV, just sort of like, moving your controller to and fro as your like digital s'more was cooking, and you could hear like the crackle of the wood. I feel like you could get into it, man. I don't know.
We might
I
be
feel
onto
like
a new
that's my-
game. We might be onto a
I
new
think that's
game.
my second
Yeah.
best idea besides just swimming underwater. I still am gonna live and die by that one. That's my MMORPG that someday is coming to life. don't
Dude,
care.
there's got to be some underwater game like that. Like we were talking about Steam. Like, there's so many random, just like, wow, I never thought somebody would make a game of this on there, and it's just like, all right, cool.
I wonder
Apple,
how that works, because there are games that are VR that have swimming in the game. I wonder how that works. Like Skyrim, you can swim in Skyrim.
Mm.
Interesting.
I would like to know more because I told these guys that I want.
You're
an
gonna be on your couch,
MMORPG.
like you're not gonna move for like a day and just be in like VR goggles, like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah, I'll be
That's
swimming
the
around.
dream.
I'll be looking at turtles, but I want an MMORPG where you can like you can go explore underwater islands and shipwrecks, and you can gain money and gain like missions, and you just swim around, and you're just like a happy person underwater. I kind of want Water World, is what I'm saying. Another
It's
SNES
like
game that I
Atlantis
cannot find.
kind of thing.
Yes,
Oh!
Atlantis would be like the one. That'd be the
There
tough one to find, but
is-
that would
I-
be big.
Don't remember what it's called. It's like Azul or Azuz, something like that. It's on Xbox. It's on Games Pass, so it's free, and it's this like underwater exploration game, and you get to like befriend a shark, and you collect little trinkets, and you get to like see all these different fish, and like most of them are realistic, but I mean, they took creative liberties, most definitely. It's a lot of fun. You're like a
Sounds like
swimming
where I
robot.
need to be.
Yeah.
I'm still wanting the s'more game. I'm gonna say it like I can picture the Wiimote, like exactly what you said. Just like, oh no, you left it in the fire too low or too long, and now it's on. Like time to get a new one.
Hmm. Yeah, like during quarantine, I definitely busted out like Wii House Party, I think it was called, or something like that. And it's like you have like Flip Cup, and I don't know, it's a game where you throw the little thing down the slider and it knocks the other thing off, and like all these house party games. And I just think we like some s'mores would be a great thing, especially during quarantine. Like I feel like you could turn all the lights off, so you just have your TV on with the fire.
Or this
you know,
entire like
turn
you
on
could
some
have an
Barry
entire
Manilow.
cooking game. You're like, oh, you gotta
Oh,
flip
shit.
the veggies and like.
That's an interesting concept.
All right,
Oh.
what real quick, what shows are people watching? Because I don't watch shows, but what's your top show each and every one of you is watching? Because I know you have some.
Ted Lasso.
Haven't seen it, but want to. I've heard only good things about it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Looks funny as hell.
Yeah, Jason
Tommy,
Sudeikis.
what do you got?
Honestly, nothing yet right now because of just getting back from being out of the country.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of catch up and like, okay, great, like just whatever's on. Like it's like, oh, quick,
Yeah.
catch a few minutes of a game or something. Nothing
Yeah,
like I can dive into yet.
it's fair. Apple, you got anything?
No. Well,
None
yeah.
things?
Well,
What?
Okay.
YouTube
Don't be
shows
ashamed.
count.
Well, okay, listen. I'm watching Bluey right now.
Fuck yeah, me too.
I know, it's for toddlers. But I saw on Instagram, like I see these clips all the time where parents will post it and they're like, damn, this made me cry. I'm like, I want to cry. I want like to watch some heartfelt stuff. So I turned it on and it's a fun watch. I don't know.
I mean, you're gonna find a heavy fan here of Bluey. Just get ready, Brad, because Bluey is fucking awesome. Like, it is
Yeah.
a genuinely awesome kids show. And it's made by the Australian government, so just know, like Australians do everything cool. And it's Bingo and Bluey, and they're like these two little puppies, and it's this puppy family, and they speak in the most adorable, wonderful Australian accents you could ever hope for.
Sweet.
It is like I have said this to others as well, so I give you props for being open with your opinions, because I could see how that could feel weird in polite society, but it is just genuinely a good show. Like it isn't even like a kid's thing. Like, I'm not saying I would necessarily watch it unhinged, or, just like non-kiddo, so props, but it's really enjoyable. It's genuinely funny to watch. Good messages. It's funny too. Like, it is actually funny. The
I'll
stuff
have to
that like
check it out.
parents do. Yeah, the stuff that
The
parents
dad
go
reminds
through
me
is
a lot
funny.
of my dad, so that's why I enjoy watching it so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my family. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
so
Bluey's
sweet.
great.
I'm
Yeah, I
counting
don't
the
have any
days.
shows either.
I'm
Yeah,
counting the
what do you
days
think,
until
this week. This week, you're like right now, right? BK.
what's up?
You
2
mean
weeks,
you're like-
yeah. Just over
That's
like 3 weeks. Our little man's due. I'm counting the days until I can watch X-Men the animated series with him. But
Heck
like,
yeah.
That's so
That's-
sweet.
yeah, I'm super excited for
Congratulations.
little man to arrive.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Call him, hey
Well,
bub.
I mean, how
hey
how
bub.
old's your boy now? How old's Charleston now, Brandon?
He's 2.
He's
2
just
and 1 years old.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. Bluey and all the things in between. We're gonna
Veggie
hang-
Tales.
Veggie Tales.
So the
Oh,
other one, just because I know you're watching Bluey, I'm assuming on Disney Plus, because isn't that what
Yes.
Bluey's on? The other one, if you want to really dive into it, it's not quite as good as Mickey Roadster Racers. So my son just runs around going like, Mickey Racers, Mickey Racers, Mickey Racers. And we got him a little Mickey Racers Halloween costume.
It's so sweet. There's this clip I keep
Yeah.
seeing. I don't know if it's from that Mickey Mouse show or another one, but it's I see it everywhere, and it makes me want to watch it so bad. It's like Minnie gets hurt. She's like laying on the floor, and Mickey runs up to her. He's like, "What happened?"
Did you just try to impersonate Mickey?
What
That's
happened?
not easy.
That's how he
That's
says
pretty
it.
good.
I know that's how he says it. He's like, "What happened?" And everyone's making fun of it online. So I'm like, shit, I need to see this.
Yeah.
Mickey
Mitzi's
had a
Roadster
few.
makes-
Mickey had a few.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, Minnie.
That's great.
Hey, Minnie.
You have seen that clip though, right? They're Avengers.
I'm just thinking of a drunk Mickey Mouse right now. It's
What
not making my
happened?
life better.
Or the South Park one is always like the kind of, oh, hey guys, haha, you guys aren't doing anything, haha.
Did you buy anything, Tommy? Did you get anything new to the collection other than that incredible cooler
The
thing
cooler
you have
is
now,
the,
which is
the
like the coolest shit I've
biggest
ever seen?
thing. Yeah. So
Oh
that's
my God.
that was the one that I was kind of sitting on it and I couldn't share it and I wanted to share it just because it turned out way better than I expected. But it was so it's just to catch Apple up. There's going to be a retro Tech Mobile tourney. It's the Nintendo football game here in the city in 2 weeks. And the grand prize to kind of generate some interest for the raffle and benefit Big Brothers Big Sisters is a custom stainless steel cooler that's made to look exactly like an old school NES.
It's crazy. Looks so cool.
Pretty sweet.
That's badass.
Let's see if I can.
Yup.
I want in. I want to win the cooler.
I know.
Here,
We
I'll pull
all
it up
want
on the
the cooler.
phone. Pardon any glare, but
So dope.
yeah, it's still the glare, so it's kind of sucks. Apologies, but
I want the cooler.
I'm
all
just
you have to
imagining
do.
taking beers out of that, just being like. I
All
get,
you
like,
have
wow,
to
world.
do is score a touchdown in 1 minute on NFL Blitz on 64. That's
Ooh.
all it takes to get the raffle ticket. It's super easy.
Mm.
I will help everybody and anybody that needs a little bit of strategy to do it. You just basically run the bomb and sneak the entire way down the field.
Wow.
I'm sure I can do it. I've never done it before,
It's
but
not
I'm sure I
it's
can
not
do
a
it first time.
guarantee, but it's the NBA Jam of football, NFL Blitz. Pretty easy to pick up.
Okay. So you
Very
got the
cool.
cooler, and have you found any other loose carts or anything, or have you been snooping around at all?
Nothing too much. I kind of still keep an eye on the what do they call the thing when you're like, oh, it's not a pink unicorn. What the hell is it when they're like, something like a white whale, like the Moonwalker on Genesis.
Yeah.
This is like every once in a while I'll take a look at and try to find stuff like that, but it hasn't found anything like too price appealing where I'm like, all right, now I got to jump on it.
Sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
Cool, man.
gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
I think I might be fading a little bit. I might have to
Well,
bounce out of
let's see.
here, but I
We-
strongly recommend continuing on without me.
We did cross the hour and a half mark, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why don't we? I think it's a good call, BK. I think we've had our inaugural show. Bringing Apple in. I have to say, as to help us go out, Apple, how would you compare this experience to your normal Twitch streaming? Because you're usually been a solo show. You find it different, unique, nice to have company. What's the vibe?
Yeah,
like for
this
you?
was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I mostly just get the same thing, but in the chat. But it's better having faces to look at and being able to respond in real time. I really enjoy it.
Well,
Yeah.
please join us again. You were excellent. You asked
Yeah,
great
absolutely.
questions.
Oh, thank you. I would love to come back.
Well, now that you have a capture card, maybe you play a game and we just sit back, drink beers, and be your, commentators. I don't know. We can comment on
Yeah.
Larry Boy, whatever.
Eminem Shell Shock. I'll go ahead and just
yes, there
borrow
you
it
go.
Hell
from my
yeah.
dad. Show
Next
you guys what
time
it's all
we're
about.
playing Eminem Shell Shock.
Oh, it's so much. It's so incredible. And the soundtrack, oh my gosh. Totally not stolen from Grand Theft Auto. So good.
I wish they would have actually had Eminem on Eminem Shell Shock. Like,
I know. What the hell? It's a ripoff. It's
it's
a
not getting
scam.
a remake. It's not getting a remake, so that was our one shot. All
Brown
right, cool.
spaghetti,
Tommy,
one shot.
you always do a
You
good
only get
job
one
of,
shot. You only get one shot.
You always do a
One
good job of leading us out, Tommy.
opportunity.
Lead us out.
Well, I think more than anything, let's again, Apple, thank you. Awesome
Thank
to have
you.
you. Do you want to let everyone know where they can find you, where they can follow you, where they can watch any of the amazing gameplay? If what you do, what you offer, obviously, just
I offer God tier gameplay and let's play. So yeah, Unsweetened Applesauce, the abbreviated right under my face, is where you can find me on Instagram and on Twitch. To take the N and D off, then you can find me on Twitter. I don't tweet much, but
You're
I
there.
wouldn't even bother. But Twitch and Instagram, if you find my Instagram first, there's a link directly to my Twitch there. I post some pretty A1 content on my Instagram, I'd say. It's a picture of me holding a small cabbage, so if you're interested in that, definitely.
Very cool.
But yeah.
Well, awesome. Yeah, everybody, obviously, if you get a chance, definitely go follow, go like, go subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. BK?
Yeah, you can find me at my house in Lisbon, Wisconsin. Otherwise, I'm on Instagram at Brad_Craw. I posted a bunch of stuff from the Ryder Cup this weekend. You should go check it out.
At your house when you're not at the Ryder Cup.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's legit. I'm MKE Game Collector, Brandon. Find me on Instagram. I like to talk to people. I'm an energetic person.
It's true.
And Tommy at Ludio1 on pretty much everything, so pretty easy to find. I totally forgot. I wanted to apologize. I know.
He's gonna do it.
I
He's
know.
gonna do it.
I know we were talking about it beforehand. Total apologies, Apple. We did not get to Rygar tonight, but we will do our best to do that the next episode. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Catch you next time.
USA. Let's go, baby. USA. All right, guys. Thanks
Go
again.
Texas.